All right, we're going to begin. So have whatever props you have nearby. And if you don't happen to have um, a low stool, blocked stack of books, a rolled up beach towel, that's totally fine. We can still do the class and I'll give you some options if you don't have any of those props. So we're going to get started. Come forward all the way onto your hands and knees. Take a moment to try to make as much space between each finger as you can. So as wide of a palm as you can get on the mat. The hips are over the knees. And we're going to get into the breath and the shoulders to start. So with your inhale, we're going to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then that exhale, we'll tap the hand back down. And the next inhale, the left arm will reach. And then exhale that left hand down. So you're going to start class moving with the breath, allowing the hips to follow you. When the one arm reaches, you can allow the hips to sway towards that side. The gaze can rise as well, giving a stretch to the neck. And just know that if this movement tends to become a little too quick for you, you can pause for an added breath in any of these places along the way. Go for about 2 more rounds. So 2 more lifts on each side. And after you finish that final round, we'll meet back at center, tabletop, hands and knees grounded into the earth. And then let's take it one step lower down onto your forearms. Feel free to give the wrists a circle. And then have a soft interlace of the fingers out in front of you. So we're going to start by allowing the head to be nice and heavy. Drop it down here. It's likely not touching the mat, and that's good. You're just releasing the head and neck. Then allow the hips to slowly sway side to side. Taking full breath, filling lungs up with inhales. And just seeing where you can get softer on your exhales. Softer shoulders, heavier head. And allow the knees to go a little bit wider. And you can sink the hips down, walking the elbows towards you. So you're kind of in an upright child's pose, working on getting a deep bend at the knee, allowing the hips to sink down as far as they like. So you can stay here, letting the head be heavy. Or you might be able to walk the arms forward and bring the forehead down to your blanket, a block, a bolster, something like that. But a nice low hip child's pose. So we're opening up the low back and getting some grounding, calming energy at the forehead. So even though this is more of a rested pose, I want you to focus on deep breath. Come forward again onto your forearms though. The knees can stay wide or they can come a little closer together. Listen to what feels nice in your hips. You can softly interlace those fingers out in front of you again. And instead of this side to side kind of wagging of the hips, we're going to draw some circles. So you can go either left or right first, that doesn't matter. But swing the hips and draw big circles. Finding a rhythm with your breath, either taking a full breath to draw a full circle or one breath per half circle. When you get back to your starting point, start to draw the circles going in the opposite direction. The same linking of the breath to movement. Release the head. Really just focus on what's happening at the hips, the pelvis, smooth movement. And then making your way back to center. Climb your way up to your hands. Let the knees go wider again and sink the hips down towards the heels. So if you stayed pretty high in the child's pose, you can stay just here. We're going to take a child's pose with a side stretch. So the hands are going to walk over towards the right side of the mat. The right elbow might be able to drop down, and you can tent onto your left fingertips and just crawl them away from you, and then relax the head down. Now you might be all the way down onto the mat, but don't think your forehead needs to touch down here. Something else you could do is bend into that right elbow, and you can rest the head in your hand. Release the hands down and walk them back to center. So take a breath here. Exhale. And now walk over towards the left. So you can simply stay here with palms grounded, forehead rested down, or lower that left elbow. You can rest the head in that palm. You might be able to tent right fingertips and walk them away. Return both hands down, walk them back to center. Take an inhale and an exhale. And then walk yourself back out to tabletop. You can bring the knees closer together. Take a moment to straighten each leg and circle the ankle one at a time. Just resetting the knee joint. You can even give the knee a little pulse. Just do that on both sides. And then find tabletop, and we'll lift into your downward facing dog. Toes tuck, hips rise. And then it's likely going to feel really nice to find a deep bend into the knees and then to press one heel down at a time. Check in with those hands again. Try to find space between each finger. Give the head a shaking release, a nod. Move around in the jaw, get soft in their face. And then let the feet go a little wider. Walk the hands backwards and fold with your elbows at the thighs. Allow the shoulders to draw down your back. Each hand presses to the thighs as you straighten your arms now. Come up halfway. And then all the way up to standing. Feet to a comfortable distance together. Let's reach the arms up. Inhale. And exhale, hands heart. Let's take 2 more of those with your breath. Good. Right back up on the inhale. Exhale, bend into the knees. So you've got your chair pose. Weight is rested towards the heels here. Soften your shoulders down the back. So you'll feel the shoulders working a lot here. At any point, you can bring hands to heart center. And just notice at any point, if your fingers start to get a little tingly, be sure to bring hands to heart center. This pose, I want you to focus on your breathing. You'll start to feel the legs fire up, a lot of energy at the tops of the legs. Try to tune that out and focus on the breath. Strong breath in, strong breath out. Take one final breath. Straighten the legs, sweep the arms up, and you might sigh your breath out. Exhale. Walk the feet wider again. And let's take it back up, arms into the air. Exhale to forward fold. You can rest those elbows at thighs. Take a breath here, move around. Look to the top of the mat, and let's walk back out, downward facing dog. The feet might come a little closer together for a traditional stance, but they can also stay wide. Now let's lower the knees down to the mat. Find tabletop once again. Right foot steps to the back of the mat. Press your heel down towards the earth and press the mat away with your palms. You really want the arms and the shoulders doing some work here. Now, right leg is going to lift to a hover. Notice how I'm not trying to get my leg as high as I can. It's just about hips height, and I'm really strongly flexed through my ankle. Notice how belly button is reaching down towards the mat. Hug baby a little higher towards your spine. You can breathe here or unload that left arm and reach the left arm for the wall out in front of you with the thumb spinning up. Just like the chair pose you were just in, try to focus on the breath and nothing else. Your body is building strength. You have strong, powerful energy. And then with your next exhale, lower that left hand down, drop the toes down to the mat. Swing this left shin wider so it's towards the left side of your mat. And now drop that right heel down. So the right toes are facing towards the side of the mat. Reach the right arm all the way up and give a nice spin out of that wrist. Now take that right arm, reach it up, and then allow it to kind of fall behind you. You can let the fingertips drop down as the heel of the palm reaches up towards the ceiling. Take that right arm up again. Now we're going to half thread it underneath you. So you're just kind of reaching that arm underneath the left arm. And then with the breath, an inhale takes you up and over. And then that exhale, it's almost like you're scooping underneath you. Again, your breath, work the pace that your breath is moving. And then pause the next time that right arm is lifted straight up into the air and find your grounded side angle pose. You can reach that right arm past the ear. Press the outer side edge of that right foot down. If you'd like to play with balance, now that right foot gets a little lighter and it would lift off of the mat. Just an option. Foot lowers if you took it. Look down, lower that right hand to the mat. Circle your left wrist out that was just holding you up. Bring that right knee into center again. Knees can go a little wider. Let's drop down to the forearms once again. Could be a nice option to release the wrists. You can tap each finger to the thumb, draw little circles or eights. And then soften the arms, interlace the fingers out in front of you. We're just gonna find stillness and breath here. So the head rested down. Feel the shoulders soften and relax. Hips are lifted towards the ceiling and your belly is now relaxing down towards the mat. Let the muscles go, the abdominals, and just let baby rest here. Will be about 3 or 4 more breaths here. So if you want to find movement, you can rock side to side, draw little circles or little cat cows. And then take your time to rise back up to your hands and knees. Find tabletop once again. Left foot is going to step to the back of the mat, pressing your heel downward. Just take a moment to set this up. So even though the leg is pressing back and doing more work, I want you to focus on the arms as well. Straighten those arms, press the mat away from you. And now lift left leg. All right, not super high, but to the height of the hip is what you're working towards. And now you do want to hug baby higher. So imagine you could press the mid back towards the ceiling. And now the right arm can reach out if you took that. The tendency where you're going to lose something here is the belly button reaching down towards the mat. So try to resist that, hug belly button high, and deepen the breath. You've got it. Try to take 2 more full inhales and exhales. And then the hand down, left toes at the back of the mat. Here so you can slide your right shin wider and drop the left heel down at center. Now the left arm can reach all the way up. Give a spin to that wrist. Allow the left arm to fall behind you. Fingertips can drop down and the heel of the palm presses up. Now reach that left arm up again. And now thread it underneath the right arm. So you're just kind of reaching off the right side of the mat, feeling the spine twist. Inhale takes you up and over. And then that exhale once again to scoop underneath. So find your breath and allow it to guide you in and out of this movement. Left arm will then stay lifted up overhead. And now reach it towards the front of your mat. Length along the left side. Start by pressing your left foot down, even the pinky edge of that foot. If you went for the balance on the first side, now that left leg can get a little lighter, but it's strong, it's pressing. Lower that foot. If you took it, lower that left hand and give some love to your right wrist now. Now come through to your child's pose. So both knees can stay grounded. Now, an option for you if belly is a little larger and this just doesn't feel comfortable anymore, keep the high hip child's pose. So the hips will stay stacked over the knees. You can walk yourself down to forehead all the way down to the mat or a blanket. You can walk the arms really long out in front of you, but if that's too much, bend into one elbow at a time. That can kind of soften through the shoulders a bit. If you happened to bend into that one elbow, just bend into the other one now and switch. And then move your child's pose into your tabletop. And then to the downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal around in your downward dog. Let the feet go wider, and again, walk the hands backwards, elbows to the thighs for a fold. Come up halfway, press the legs away, and then all the way upright. The feet can come to a comfortable distance apart from each other, and we'll come into chair pose from here. So I'm just going to take a turn to face forward so that you can see the arm shapes that we're going to take. So set the feet up, root the heels down, and then bend into the knees. So you don't have to go as deep as you can, but find a bend into the knees so you're getting nice and strong in the thighs. Now reach this right arm up and then bend into the elbow so that the elbow, it might be out towards the side, but you're intending it up towards the ceiling. Now that arm is likely pressing the head forward. Lift the chin, press the head back. And now this left hand is going to cup the elbow. So I'm not mirroring you. Lift up on the inhale, and you're going to take a side lean over towards the left. So you're getting a lot of length in the right side body. Just mindfully keep pressing the head back into the arm. Inhale, straighten the legs, arms back to center, reach them up overhead, and now just let them rest behind the back. You can give a shoulder roll, forward, backward, head gaze side to side. And then we'll take it to the other side. So start by finding that chair pose, bend into the knees. Now let's have that left arm reach up, bend the elbow. So the elbow is lifted up towards the ceiling. And then that right hand is going to sweep up, take a hold of that elbow, press the head back, and you're taking a side lean now over towards the right. Length for left side, left ribs. Strength for the legs, the pelvic floor. Inhale to re-straighten those legs. Back to center, arms extend. And once again, just let the arms go behind the back and give some movement to the head, the neck, the shoulders. And then keeping the arms where they are, you're going to work on really allowing the shoulder to rest down away from the ears. Root the feet into the mat, and we'll give some love to the neck now. So big breath in, stand tall, and then let your right ear fall over towards your right shoulder. Again, my movements aren't mirroring you. My head just doesn't work that way. So just soften the shoulders down, allow the head to rest towards the right. Then allow the chin to fall over towards that right shoulder and the gaze is off the right side of the mat. And the chin falls towards the chest. Release the arms. Inhale, gaze up. And exhale, hand center. Let the arms go wide. And try to take that opposite arm on top behind you once again. Soften the shoulders, lift the crown of the head, inhale. And then we're allowing that left ear to now fall towards left shoulder. Gaze falls to the left as the chin works over towards the left shoulder. And then chin to chest. Release the arms. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, center. All right, we're going to get into some standing poses. So we're going to start at the top of your mat. Now you will want whatever prop you're using to bring the floor closer to you. So I'm going to use this plant stand stool just so that you can see what something rather tall looks like. You could definitely use a chair, the lower part of the chair. I just feel you shouldn't be reaching all the way for the ground here, okay? Walk it forward to the top of the mat, hands at the hips. Step your right foot just a little bit behind you. And then we're going to allow those right toes to open towards the side of the mat. And then you can heel toe a little wider if you'd like. Left knee is bending, so you're coming into your warrior two. The arms are going to open up wide, and your gaze is going to look over those left fingertips. If you feel you are a little bit too tight in this left hip, feel free to heel toe that foot wider to accommodate some space for the hips. Feel the bend in that left knee. You'll feel that thigh firing up again. Stay with it. And then inhale, straighten the leg, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, let's come back to that warrior two. 3 more of those. Big breath in, reach. And exhale, glide. Nice and smooth movement. Last one. Warrior two. So now you're going to reach down for that stool or whatever you have. And if you don't have something, it's going to be your thigh, all right? My left hand is down to my stool, right arm up and reaches over. Now, if you don't have a block or anything there, you can rest your elbow on that left thigh, right arm up and over. So this is mirroring the shapes we have found already today. Lengthen the side body. Let's take that right arm, find a circle, one direction for about 2 sweeps. And then go in the opposite direction as well for a couple of rounds. Right arm straight up. Now right hand down to whatever you're using for your block, your bolster, and walk it towards the center, not towards the center, walk it off the right side of your mat. Now the heels are going to maybe kick out a little bit, but your toes could also kick out if that's more comfortable on the hips. So you do want something here for you. I do not suggest reaching all the way down for the floor. Press whatever you're using away from you, get a little bit longer. And then once again, that right arm reaches up on the inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale down. So in case you have just a rolled up blanket or something, this can go the same exact way. So something that can stack pretty tall is going to be better for you, probably than reaching all the way down for the floor. Take your final arm sweep, left or right, and then we'll pause in the fold. So if you're rested on the palms, you can just let your head go. Some of you who have a taller prop might be able to take it down to your forearms and then rest. So just listen to your body. You don't want to feel a super, super deep stretch behind or in the middle of the legs. You don't want to feel a super forward fold here as well. Just a gentle stretch. And then you can climb yourself up taller. Let's let the heels come in a bit. Now the toes are really angled out. Bend into the knees and then one hand at a time up to the thighs and pause. So nice tall squat pose. You'll see my shoulders are rested into the ears. Totally fine. Straight arms here. Take a breath in. And on your exhale, drop your right shoulder towards center. Take a gaze over towards the left. Inhale back to center. And now exhale, drop your left shoulder and gaze over towards the right. And back to center. So a few more rounds each side. Making your way back to center. And then climbing all the way up to standing. So allow the feet to scooch closer together. You can move whatever props you have out of the way and return them to the top end of your mat. We'll take that going the opposite direction. So standing at the top of your mat, now you're going to step your left foot a comfortable distance back, and then you can heel toe a little wider. The toes are open towards the side mat. You'll bend into your right knee. You could walk the right foot wider if you like that, and then the arms go wide for warrior two. Relax the shoulders. Feel the lunge into that front knee. Feel the breath. Another full breath. And then straighten that front leg. Let the palms meet up overhead. And then again, take that gliding out warrior two. So nice smooth movement. Inhale and exhale. Let's take 2 more rounds. From warrior two, you come into your side angle. So either the right elbow down, left arm up. If you used your prop, that hand comes down inside. The prop is inside your right foot, and the left arm reaches across. Now let's take 2 circles of the arm, one direction. And then 2 circles of the arm going the opposite direction. Now look down, take a hold of whatever you're using and bring it off the left side of the mat. Those right toes are going to react to face in. And you'll come into your forward fold once again. So you can always have straight arms. If your body allows, you can take it lower if your prop allows. Again, it could be as simple as a folding chair or a kitchen chair to bring some height. Let the hips give a little rock side to side. The head could even gaze side to side. Look out in front of you. Climb up to straighter arms. Heel toe the feet 1 step or 2 step in closer to you. Bend the knees. Each hand to the thighs. Let's come all the way up to standing. Then finish off the feet closer in. Pick up whatever prop you're using. Return it to the top of your mat. And then take a walk all the way to the back of your mat. We're going to come to your downward dog with a little mini vinyasa. So the inhale sweeps the arms up. The feet can go wider as you exhale, fold. Inhale, look to the top end of your mat. And then exhale, walk out, downward facing dog. A couple of breaths in your downward face. And then let's take it to your tabletop, hands and knees. So we're gonna work into pigeon pose from here. Walk the hands a little further out in front of you, and then you're going to draw the right knee closer to that right wrist. Now, this is a great shape to stay in. Otherwise, you can have that right knee go more towards the edge of the mat, and you can scooch this right heel underneath your left hip. Now, staying tall is likely going to feel a little more accessible than taking it all the way down. But if you're feeling any pinching on the low back, maybe you can use your prop out in front of you to take it a little bit lower. We're going to be here only for about 4 to 5 more breaths. So we're just working on some opening of that outer right hip. All right, so coming out the way you came in, we're going to kind of scooch that right heel underneath the hip again. Walk the hands closer to you as you can kind of pick up and come back to that tabletop. You can give a couple of cat-cows or C curves here. And then let's come into that pigeon on the other side. So you can walk the hands a little forward again. Slide that left knee, left shin just behind that wrist. You can stay here if that feels plenty for you. Otherwise, a little kickstand of this left knee towards the left side of the mat and the left heel underneath your right hip. Take the same height and the same shape you took on the other side. Scooch that left heel underneath the hip again. You can press yourself back, come back to your tabletop, and then sweep the feet either side of the mat. It doesn't matter. Hands go to the opposite direction of the feet and just come to sit down. Come to a comfortable seated position out in front of you. I'm just going to turn to face the camera. So just notice which shin is in front for a nice easy seat. You can pick up the flush away from your sits bones so you're completely grounded on the mat. The hands can rest down on the knees. We're going to take a couple of cat-cows here. So with the hands on the knees, you're just going to kind of press the pelvis forward, lift the chest and the gaze, inhale. And then exhale, you can tuck and around and almost pull the knees up towards you. So rock forward, that would be your inhale. And the exhale to tuck and round. Finding a few more here. And then find your way back at center. So let's have the right hand walk off the side of the mat. So again, I'm not mirroring you, right hand wide. Left arm is going to reach up, take a little walk out, and find that side body stretch for your left side again. Your gaze could lift underneath your left arm. Walk that right hand closer to you. Let the left hand rest on your left knee. Right arm up and open for a twist looking towards the right. Now the right arm can stay lifted, reaching back, or can tent right down on the mat behind you. Release to face forward. And now swap the shin that's in front and take that crisscross seat once again. This one might feel a little unnatural, but we're working some symmetry into the hips. Hands will rest down on the knees. Take a moment to sit up tall. And then inhale, press the pelvis forward as you lift your chest to the ceiling. And exhale, tuck and round. Those knees might float up. Inhale, rock forward. And then tuck and round. So this movement with your breath. Finding your way back to center. Let the left hand fall off the side of the mat. The right arm reaches up. And now take a side lean. So we're getting into right side. Underneath the right arm, down the ribs, to the side of that hip. You might again look underneath your right arm. Walk yourself back to center. Allow that right hand to rest on the knee. Now sweep the left arm up and twist left, keeping that arm the same height of the shoulder or letting it drop down behind you. Use your inhale to come forward, reach the arms up, and an exhale, hands to heart center. We'll take one final forward fold. So you can now let the feet set out in front of you, creating a diamond shape with the legs, bound angle pose. If you've got your prop, you might like it in between this or inside your little diamond pose. So the hands can rest behind you. And I want you to press the chest toward the ceiling. So for those of you who have a baby already at home, so this is maybe your second or third pregnancy, you'll know that when you have baby, there's a lot of this inward rotation of the shoulders because you're holding baby, feeding baby, nursing baby. So we're going to take this opportunity to now lift the chest towards the ceiling, broaden through the collarbones, and get really open in the front part of the body. Feel free to stay in this shape, or you can take it forward into a fold where you rest the elbows down and the head is in the palms. You could also stack the forearms. Now, if your prop isn't high enough, I would say stay maybe a little open and bring the hands behind you, or you can rest the hands forward and kind of just tuck your chin. Take some of your deepest breaths of the morning. Feel free to sigh out every exhale. Take your gaze forward. You can shift your blocks out of the way. Let's bring our hands to heart center. So thank you so much for joining class today. This Sunday class is when I would normally teach my prenatal class. So thank you so much for joining in and keeping some sort of normalcy to my life right now. As you may or may not know, I'm completely out of work. All of my studios around have closed. Yoga is my livelihood. It is how I make my money and pay my bills. So if at the end of the class you are able to give any sort of contribution, I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll have my Venmo and my PayPal up posted for you. So coming into a restful pose, you can side lay. We'd be laying on your left side body, coming into prenatal. So you can walk the hands to the side, sweep the legs back, walk your hands all the way down until you're side laying on your left side. Now, if you happen to have your pregnancy pillow, you can wrap that in a way that's comfortable. If you have a blanket or some kind of pillow, you can straighten your bottom leg and then bend into that front knee and let it rest on top of your blanket. The head can rest on the arm, finding just a comfortable shape where you can find a few moments of rest. Take as much time as you'd like in this rest. You deserve it. Don't cut yourself short. And let me know if you've got any questions. I'll see you next week. Namaste.